It's time I continue my investigation into the dark, deep bowels of anime, so that way we can finally have an answer to the question that has plagued humanity since the dawn of time. What is the worst anime ever made? I intend to answer this with empirical scientific data collected through my painstaking research into the subject. As many of you know, I've spent the better part of 27 years building up my tolerance to dog shit through exposure therapy. I've watched, I've played, and experienced the worst that any entertainment medium has to offer. So there's no curveballs anime can toss at me that I can't handle. So I'm absolutely the correct fit for the job here, and I know we will once and for all be able to determine what is the objective worst anime ever created. So today will be my third venture into the abyss here. This will be, again, going through my anime list. Today we're taking a peek at Abunai Sisters. It is the 7th lowest rated anime of all time according to my anime list, and I'm actually rather optimistic for this one. I think it's got a lot of potential. Just in case anyone doesn't know the rules here, you might be scratching your head wondering why am I on the 7th lowest rated anime when this is only my 3rd time in the Crucible? And the reason for that is because on my anime list there's a lot of art shit shovelware that isn't actually anime in any capacity. It's just on my anime list with a rating, even though there's not a single person in this entire fucking multiverse that would consider it anime. For example, there's something called Nami, which is like a short film where a woman's just fingering herself, a real live action woman just fingers herself, and then tiny fish float, or not even float, just slither into the room and then go into her vagina for 3 minutes. It's not exactly anime, but it is pretty incredible. I mean, what a masterpiece, honestly. That's like a 70% on the moist meter at the very least. But I'm not going to be looking at those kind of small time projects for this adventure. I'm looking for the worst anime, like by traditional definition, an animated production. That's what I'm looking for, the worst in that category. So that's why we've gone all the way to Abunai Sisters, because everything before it doesn't exactly fit that definition. Probably one of the best intros in all of anime. I'd say this is up here with Tokyo Ghoul's Unravel and Attack on Titan's Rumbling. This is just so good. The song's just an absolute banger, and ever since I finished episode 1, I've just been singing it to myself because it slaps so hard. Now you can immediately maybe draw a comparison to the two characters here in Comedy Central's Celebrity Deathmatch, if any of you remember that. It looks like they took the Celebrity Deathmatch characters and instead of them being made out of clay, they animated it, and they still somehow look like they're made out of clay but wrapped in plastic.
Oh, the beach is all set up for us. We haven't had a vacation in so long. Let's go swimming. Check out my sexy swimsuit. A swimsuit? I could never wear one of those. A celebrity should be swimming in her birthday suit.
They're really coming out of the gates hot. They must have spent a lot of time modeling these asses because they're pretty detailed. If you look on the left there, her dress is so tight that they decided to model a butthole there. There's an actual sign of asshole through the dress, which is impressive. But unfortunately, their passion for the brown balloon knot didn't translate to the rest of the show. They didn't keep that same level of quality nor attention to detail. The voice acting is some of the worst you'll ever hear because it uses that goddamn chipmunk feature where it pitches everything up and it just sounds all squeaky. I hate it so much. This show looks like an ad you'd see on Facebook for a scam mobile game.
Sure, let's go. Huh? Mika, it's the Abunai emergency alarm. Something Abunai must be happening nearby.
This scene alone proved to me that nobody on my anime list knows what they're doing. They clearly don't have an eye for quality and can't properly judge anime that they're rating. This is just criminal that it's so low on the list, especially with a scene like this. They're getting an emergency notification on their titties. Their fucking breasts have minds of their own. The jiggle physics in this show put Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 2 to shame. It's kind of like in the Powerpuff Girls when the mayor calls the girls on that hotline. It's like, we got an emergency. Well, in Abunai, I guess it's the Lord calling the girls through their milkers. I don't exactly know the whole lore behind Abunai Sisters, but I did look up what Abunai means since they used it in the show. It means dangerous, basically. So when they say there must be something Abunai happening nearby, they're saying there's danger afoot. And how fucking epic is that, huh? And the danger happens to be a shark. Just when you thought sharks couldn't get any more Abunai, this one's got a goddamn Gatling gun in its mouth, a fucking phalanx turret, and he's targeting the Abunai sisters here. Obviously must be some kind of assassination plan from Dr. Evil, but the Abunai sisters, they're no pushovers. They're the best in the business for a reason.
Oh, you're killing me. I finally found you, Abunai sisters.
Is nothing sacred anymore? A disgusting, perverted, peeping Tom busting a nut in his little pantaloons while he spies on the Abunai sisters who are fighting for their lives right now in mortal danger against this terrorist shark. But luckily, Mika hatched a galaxy brain scheme to shake up the champagne bottle and use the cork as a projectile weapon. The ocean's greatest predator defeated by the land's greatest tits. An easy job well done for the Abunai sisters, but it begs the question, who was that guy with the binoculars? Luckily there's 10 episodes to answer that question. This was only the first one. The episodes are about 3 minutes each, so you really get a lot of bang for your buck here.
You'll have to forget the lingerie. Oh my gosh. Now tell me where the booby stone is. The booby stone? The booby stone is that mysterious gem. Once you possess the stone, it gives you the power of eternal youth and beauty.
Yeah, episode 2 is full of lore. We get to see that binoculars guy again. He's a villain. He's trapped them in a limousine pretending to be its driver. And he's the sidekick for this lady here who pulls the Glock out on him. I don't really know what her name is because it's really hard to understand the dialogue because it all sounds like fucking Nightcore. But she's got the gun on him and is threatening to shoot if they don't reveal the location of the booby stone, which is basically a Chaos Emerald, but for breasts and eternal youth. And unfortunately, the guy driving the car is too distracted by their tits and gets into an accident.
Thank goodness for our boobies. We certainly have these babies for a reason.
Once again, the day is saved thanks to huge honkin' melons. That's where episode 2 concludes, and episode 3 kind of is the same thing. It's very Team Rocket-esque, so the villains just keep trying to come up with plans in order to steal the booby stone, and are thwarted by the Abunai sisters every time. Episode 4's business as usual. Classic motorboat jutsu. This is really the entire show. It never really changes much, gets any better, or gets any worse. It's the entire show, just like this. Now I bet you're just squirming in your seat, desperate to know how it all ends. The series finale, how does Abunai Sisters wrap up? Well, in the final episode, after numerous failed attempts throughout the season, they do finally come up with a plan that ends in success. They get their hands on the Booby Stone, but only for a brief time, because unfortunately for them, Mika and Coco are equipped to handle any type of Abunai situation.
We've got no choice. Now we can use that. Yes. Eat this! Our ultimate weapon, the nipple bullets! Oh my gosh, those nipples were fake?
It shocks me that this hasn't been renewed for a second season or a reboot or something. A great show all around. This is actually a show that wasn't nearly as bad as the other two we've seen before. I definitely still think Skelter Heaven and Mars of Destruction is significantly worse than the Abunai Sisters, because at least this is moderately entertaining, and its purpose is clearly to get people to jerk off to it in some level, just being like softcore porn, kinda. And I'm sure it succeeded in that ballpark, absolutely. So it's definitely not the worst anime, and I don't think it's even gonna come close. But an interesting adventure nonetheless. That's about it. See ya.